I can sing on the go, but
speaking
is a different ballgame for me.
And you're going to do a lot of speaking.
So, I'd like you to describe your father in 3 words.
3 words, my father. Disciplined, strict, and I don't know. I think I would say my dad is loving, but however, the way he expressed his love is by being strict and most times disciplined. One of the things that made my dad laugh was, I think, specific memories between him and my mom, right? I think it was, I can't remember the memories though, but thinking back now, I can see that most of the times my dad laughed was when he talks about specific memories between him and my mom or between him and other people, right? Those were specific memories that made him laugh. And when things just happens at home that, like, let's say we have a full house, my whole siblings are in the house, and then things just happen, we just do something, everybody just starts laughing, right? Stuff like that. And before he got to that point I think it was like a year before or 2 years before he passed. That was when he started getting to that point where he started piping down and like, man, let me just chill, right? So, yeah. I think what I remember is if you say, if you do something or say something or literally walk up to my dad to say, Daddy, my dad doesn't like to hear, Daddy, I want. So once you come with, as soon as you stand in front of him and say, Daddy, I want, the way he looks at you with his eyes shining, he looks at you like, and then before you know, you start stuttering. Like you don't know what to say, you forget what you want to say. And my dad was very strict with friendships. Because my dad used to be the, what's the word? I can't remember, but as far as I can remember growing up, my dad used to work with 7-Up bottling company, right? So my dad had his thing going, right? My dad was a baller, right? My dad drove Benz. Yeah, he had his white Benz with his white agbada. You understand? So he had that, and he would call friends. Friends would come around and they would sit down, they would drink. My dad's favorite drink back then was Gouda. I mean, when he had the money, his favorite drink back then was Gouda. That was his favorite beer. So he would call his friends, they would come around. Whenever I come back from school, I would see my dad and his friends. They would sit down outside, they are drinking and all that. So when everything happened, my dad lost that job and came to the part where my dad had to start finding himself again, started looking for a job. All his friends disappeared on him. He would call friends and like, I need this, I need that. They would not show up. This one would say, I don't have that. So my dad was very strict with friendships. So my dad would not allow us bring friends to the house. So even if there was only one friend that from my end, my dad allowed to come to the house, which is my friend, right? Like a guy, Kelechi. So that was the only friend that my dad would, and even before my dad got used to him, was if my dad comes on and sees you with a friend in the house, the way he keeps his face, you know that, bro, it's time for you to go. Not that he's going to beat you or something, but it just didn't have that. I've seen friends do this to me. I don't think I want them to do it to you. So, but he didn't pass it the right way. He didn't pass that information the right way. You get what I'm saying? But so that led us to start spending time outside, right? So he would even tell you that instead of you to bring your friends to the house, go out there, go and meet them. I don't want to see friends in my house. That passed in 2020. I'm 29, so I think I was 24, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I was 24. So because it seems like I was towing and this is the first time I'm saying this out there, because it seemed like I was towing a different route from my other siblings, right? I was hell-bent on doing music. Like I knew that I was called to do music. I didn't know whether it was going to be secular at that time or gospel, but I knew that I wanted to do music, right? So because I was on that route, it seemed like I was the black sheep of the family, right? It looked that way. I have a stepbrother who ventured into music, not as an artist, but a producer. I have a stepbrother. My stepbrother who did that. However, things didn't go as they should with him. So my dad was never in support with him going into music, because our parents now, they can be like, you're doing music. Music is not for, it's for people that are unserious. Yeah, it's not a career and all that. Yeah. So they had that back and forth. Even him himself, my dad pushed him to the side because he was into music, right? So when my dad saw that trait in me, that was where the whole thing started. Do this. Why not go and look for it? I say, no, I want to do music. Called all my siblings, say, talk to this boy. I don't know why this boy wants to do like this. He said he wants to do music. He's not serious. He's not serious with his life and all that. So we are doing all that back and forth. And at some point, I got into depression because I wasn't getting that fatherly love from my dad. I got into depression because I felt like nobody was understanding me, right? So I was that teenager that was just trying to find myself, right? And so I got into depression. I was always angry. Immediately I get home, I'm angry. So the only time you find me bubbling is when I'm outside the house. But once I come back to the house, I'm always upset. I'm always angry, right? But I might not show it, but for example, if you accuse me of something, right, I just flare up for no reason. If you do something, that I just flare up, right? So that whole thing happened. I was finding life. I started detaching from my dad. I started detaching from a lot of things from my dad. So fast forward to when the whole sickness thing came. It happened. My dad passed that night at home on his deathbed. He passed that night, and I cried. I did not feel it. I cried like, okay, I'm not going to see this man anymore. Fine. But in my head, I'm like, this man not really send me like that, because there was a particular day my dad literally told me, see your matter, I don't wash hand, come up for your matter. My dad almost disowned me at some point because of this same thing, right? Because of this same journey of music, right? So when people see me, I'm dogged about this music thing. I know the things that have been sacrificed to get here, right? So when my dad passed, I cried that night. I cried that night and woke up before the morning, carried plates. I went to wash. I was listening to music. I was scoring my songs. I kept on living my life, right? Not until 1 year later, there was one day I was in the bathroom. He hit me. Pa, your dad is gone. I broke down in the bathroom and I started weeping like a child. After I cried, I think I slipped into depression again for months because I was thinking, where's my dad? I don't have a father anymore. Even, okay, fine, I understand that we didn't have the best of relationships, but why? I don't have a dad anymore. I slipped into depression. I was upset. I was crying. Sometimes some things will happen. I would get overwhelmed with life. I would want to pick up my phone to call dad, but I just wish that even if we are not in the best of relationships, I should have him to just say, Omo, daddy, see how he be me. Sa, they do. Sometimes I just feel like if he was alive, he would have been a changed person. He would have accepted a lot of things, right? He would have changed his mindset about a lot of things. I would have been able to call him, go visit him and talk to him and say, daddy, this is what is happening to me. How do I navigate this? Point me in the right direction and all that, right? But that was when it dawned on me that my dad was no more.
So how did this passing change your life?
So it changed my life in a way that it put me on my toes. That, bro, ain't nobody gonna do this for you. I don't think you were born with a silver spoon. Now, ice cream spoon nowadays, they born that wooden spoon. You understand? But I knew that I was born with the hand of God right upon my life. Yeah, so it changed my life in a way that I started becoming a man. I started thinking like a man. I knew I had to think for myself, right? I knew I had to get my things together. I had to get myself together because nobody was going to do it for me. Nobody was going to point, nobody was going to guide me and say, come here, don't do that. Nobody was going to shout at me. I had to start figuring out life and say, okay, you cannot be going this way. You cannot be doing it. And I mean, I owe my dad a lot of appreciation again, because if not for him being strict and being disciplined to a certain level, I would have turned out a different person, because I had the opportunity to go astray. I could have gone astray, and my wife will tell you I'm that guy. If I set my mind to do this, that's what I'm doing. My family too can tell you that if I say I'm doing this thing, there's nothing you can say that will change my mind. Especially if God has said, Gerald, go and do it. There's nothing anybody can do to change my mind. I'd rather fight with you than not do that thing. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, it changed my life. He helped me become a man, to stand for myself and to just be able to face life head on.
All right, so what does Father's Day feel like for you now that he's done?
Father's Day. What does Father's Day? Father's Day for me just feels like, again, because, and I'll be vulnerable and to say that I'm still healing from the whole father thing, right? So I've never had a Father's Day feel, right? I've never had a Father's Day feel, right? Most times, so since when he passed, whenever it is Father's Day, I post his picture, and I'm like, man, I miss you. I just wish you were around. Even if we would not have been in good terms, but just knowing that you're around would actually keep me in check a lot more. I mean, I know that I'm in check, but knowing that you're around would keep me in check a lot more. And it would have tested my ability to want to become more of a man, right? So many decisions that I have made, my getting married at this age, sometimes I look back and say, if Daddy was alive, would you have dared to take your wife to him and say, Daddy, I want to get married. So I question myself a lot and say, would you have dared to do this thing? Would you have dared to take this step? Would you have been too bold to say, because for you to stand in front of my dad and say, I want to do this thing, you have guts, right? You have guts. So because of how my dad because of the upbringing I had with my dad, I used to tell my wife, there's no father that I want to stand in front of that you will make me fret and say, oh, your dad is coming, I should be scared. Growing up, my friends, they know. My dad there, I say, your daddy there, so what make I do? Let's go to your house. My dad is coming by 6. Let him come and meet us. Let him come and meet me sitting down here. Because of that upbringing I had, I wasn't scared of anybody's dad. I mean, I would respect them, but I wasn't scared of anybody's dad at all. Yeah. So Father's Day for me, I mean, I know that in the long run, I would get into it probably when I have my children, when they finally come into this world to come and see their awesomeness of a father. Yeah. So, but yeah, I know that I'm coming into that to really experience what Father Day is. Hey, Daddy. I miss you. I know we didn't have the best of relationship before you transitioned. But hey. I never had the opportunity to say this to you, but here goes. I love you, Daddy. Happy Father's Day. Your son, Gerald Bishung.